So we are recording.
All right.
So,
All right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Coffee at Night show. We took a break. We took a hiatus. I am your
a
host,
little
the
bit.
man with the plan, Tony Grands. That is my co-host, Sarah. What's up, Sarah?
Not a whole lot. Just trying to survive the day as
Yeah.
usual.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a good job because you're surviving and you're here. So
Right.
we had to take a break, guys. We had a whole lot of stuff going on. Hope everybody has their coffee. Sarah, you got your coffee? I got
I
my coffee.
I got this.
What is that?
Psychedelic water.
Does it have alcohol in it?
No.
What does it get you like?
It has a psychedelic complex with kava kava root, demonia leaf, or however you say that, and green tea extract.
And some peyote. It should be some peyote in there.
So I don't know. 474 milligram complex is supposed to make you feel good.
Yeah,
I
does it
guess
make
we'll
you feel
see.
good?
I don't. I don't
Take a sip.
know.
You haven't drank any?
I accidentally drank some last night at work because I needed to take some Advil, and that was the only thing I'd have. So my daughter just handed it to me. I opened it and took it, and I was like,
And that's the
"Might as well
same one from
finish it
last night.
now."
That's the
But
same one
then,
from last night.
yeah, this is the one from last night. I got
Go ahead
this
and
is.
guzzle it. Go ahead and guzzle it. Let's see how tough you
Hang
are.
on, I'll grab a fresh one and we'll see how that goes.
Oh, so the
Oh,
answer
I
is
can't do one.
not
Not
very
like
tough
that.
at all. All right, y'all. Well, I sent her on a goose night. God knows where she's going or what she's doing. She got her booty in the camera. All right, everybody. We got a
Come
guest
around
today.
here.
We're gonna start having more. We're gonna start having more guests on the show. And today we have our buddy J.Nolan coming to hang out. We don't have any applause, but I'm gonna clap for this brother. I'm gonna
Hey, I
clap for this
appreciate it. I
brother.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Here she comes.
I'm right here. I
All right,
made it.
now you gotta crack it open and take like 5 hard guzzles.
It's this is the prickly pear flavor. We'll see. Oh
Is it like an energy drink?
no, it's supposed to have like mild psychoactive effects.
Lord have mercy, the things that they sell today in stores.
So we'll see. Ooh,
Yeah, if
that's
you
a good
start
flavor though.
freaking out, then we'll know exactly why. All right.
Yeah,
Well, I
prickly
was
pear is good.
introducing I was introducing the audience to our guest today, Jamar Nolan. And so did you guys met? Did you guys meet each other?
We chatted a little bit.
Briefly,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, good. All right. So Jamar, I've known Jamar for a long time. J.Nolan. I've known J.Nolan probably the majority of the time I've been online. And like, I like to tell stories about, stuff I used to do or back in the day stuff. This is, I like to have the people around and be like, oh yeah, I remember that, because before I start rapping and doing all kind of other stuff, I had a website and I was going hard. I was out here, pumping out content, pumping out the news, chasing artists down to interview. I was like, I went so hard that I burnt myself out. And that's the reason I stopped doing the website. It was just too much. But J.Nolan's music was always on my shit because I tapped in with him at some point, and just it was an energy to it. It was energy to it, and it was original. So like this was like around the time when everybody was dropping these mixtape raps and these mixtape bars. And J.Nolan didn't do that. He came out with his own shit, his own spit. And if you wasn't smart enough to understand what he was saying, it's gonna go over your head easily, especially 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But the grind has been constant. Even before I started doing music, all the cats that I was showcasing, a lot of those dudes are gone. A lot of the internet guys I was trying to come and get on, they disappeared completely because they didn't have any wherewithal to turn it into a business model. That's my opinion. But this brother did. And that's why I got him on the show today. That's what we're going to talk about.
For
But
sure.
Jamar, that's enough of me rubbing your back. Tell the people where you from and a little bit about yourself, man, please.
I bet. So, J.Nolan, man, I was born in Connecticut, New Haven. I was raised in Atlanta, Georgia, in the South Side. Spent some time in Cali. Spent some time in Cali when I was younger, out in the Bay. So I've lived all over the place, but primarily grew up in Atlanta. And yeah, man, since a child, I was just obsessed with music. Like that was just like something that always kept me going, kept me motivated. I used to like record music off a tape recorder on the radio and
Absolutely.
the whole
Pause
nine.
mixtapes. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. And this
Absolutely.
was like,
The
and I was
original
doing
mixtape.
for
Mhm.
sure, and I was doing this
Mhm.
like way after it was out of style to be doing that. You know what I mean? So it was just something
That's
innate
your
that was in
passion.
me.
Your
Yeah,
passion was still
exactly.
moving no matter what. However you had to get to it, you had to get to it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
understand
like
that. 'Cause
my
I'm a similar
my
cat.
first raps. raps was on a tape recorder. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever I could use to just get my thoughts out, man. So from there, I was putting music out in like high school and stuff like that. That's kind of like where I got my first little taste of having some sort of buzz or some sort of fan base. Like, kids in school, teachers actually supported my music, principals and stuff. So that was kind of cool because there was other people that rapped in my school that wasn't getting that type of love. So it kind of showed me that I had the ability to like bridge the gap between not only folks my age but adults as well at the same time. So coming out of school, I went through the same rabbit hole of every artist, trying to chase a deal, trying to get discovered. Family didn't quite understand where I was trying to go with it. They supported me, and I never said that they didn't, but they just didn't know how to support me, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or how to guide me or show me where to go. So I just had to learn a lot from trial and error. That's pretty much what led me to you and like so many other people that ran websites during that time, was just like that was the way to kind of get discovered at least a little bit, you know what I mean? Getting a website or a blog to cover you, a journalist that's passionate about what it is that you're doing. And that opened up my world a lot because folks like you and a lot of others allowed me to kind of like
It
start
was a
connecting
lot.
with people. Yeah, man. People forget about that time period, but
Yeah,
like
it was
I
nice.
started, yeah,
It
man.
was
Like
dope.
that,
It was real dope.
thousands of people could run into your music at any time,
Yeah,
and they not even
yeah.
know who you are. On an international level, like it was
And
crazy.
and be able to download it immediately, or you know what I'm saying? You go
Download
to
it,
go to
yeah, exactly.
LimeWire and go get it real quick. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. It was a dope
Yeah, the
time.
whole thing.
I don't know what you mean. Go get it real quick through LimeWire. You had to sit there for 17 hours.
Well, not
And
even
if,
necessarily LimeWire, because
Yeah,
to
this
be
was
and
this
if
was
honest,
your
at the
mom
LimeWire.
picked up the phone, forget it.
when
You gotta start
I
all
got
over.
into it and I started downloading stuff, it was right after LimeWire, so there was like 15, small no name
Mhm.
sites
Yeah,
that where I was going.
Space,
I
Q
got a lot
Saver,
of my
all that kind
music,
of stuff.
all that stuff, and the DJs were the DJs and the producers would come out with the music and take the music and throw it on the sites. So you just go snatch it up, whatever's new, whatever you haven't heard. You might find a little jewel in there, a new song that somebody about to drop. Get that shit up on your blog before anybody else, man.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
glorious time.
That's when major label songs used to leak. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And you had to
Oh,
grab
yeah.
it before the label got to it. And man, it was
oh man, that was a good time. Yeah, that was a good
yeah,
time.
man. So coming up through that space like that, it gave me a lot of my chops that I still carry with me today, because when I started getting introduced to all of these people that wanted to hear my music, only thing I knew was to keep producing it because I didn't want them to forget about me or be like, where is he at? So I would drop like projects like every few months. You know what I'm saying? And I think that drive and that determination of like just being great at my craft is really what kind of carried me this far. Of course, the business stuff came at a later time, but I didn't come into it business savvy at all. I was just trying to share my talent.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about the business side as far as that goes. What exactly do you mean by that? Because I know, I don't know, Sarah's probably looked through your Facebook page and kind of just seen different stuff. But what do you do business wise as far as the music goes?
Okay, so I mean, really, I would say I don't do nothing special that any other artist should not be doing. But
Yeah, but
just
they don't do it.
just to pinpoint, right. But to pinpoint the basics of it, it's kind of like, I had to start really brushing up on, like, I used to hear people talk about owning your masters, but nobody really knows what that means. What does it mean to own your publishing? You know what I mean? These are things that you actually have by default, long as you don't give it to nobody else. But
Absolutely.
but if you don't put it down on paper, it still could technically not be yours. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
If somebody gets to it first, right? But then um on another level, there's like, a lot of people are coming to know me now for getting involved in like sync licensing and like having my
Mhm.
songs all over like TV, films,
There it
advertisements and
is.
stuff like that. um
I
but
see
then
that.
outside of that,
Yeah.
I
yeah,
noticed
that's
that
something.
on
Yeah,
your I noticed that on your Facebook, and I will say, I have seen Zero Fucks Given. Like, I watch that all the time, and that is,
dope.
you've got some great tracks on there. Like,
Appreciate it.
See,
I didn't know that's where it
J
was
Nolan's
coming from, but
famous.
I loved it. Like,
Yeah, J Nolan
That's
is
what's up, and
famous.
yeah, that's an interesting case right there. You know what I mean? Like that song there was like a lesson in itself because we had made that song probably almost a year or two before that whole situation came to be. We were pitching it to like sync companies, and sync companies, of course, they're the ones that actually go out and get this stuff placed for you, unless you have the relationships to do it yourself. And they were turning it down. You know what I mean? Because the song was called Re-Up, and they thought I was making like drug references and stuff because they weren't looking at it from like the hip hop culture perspective where we use
Yeah.
street slang commonly, you know what I mean? So they were like, nah, don't really like that. But we ended up getting this company called Ninja Tune, who if people aren't familiar with Ninja Tune themselves, you might be familiar with like Flying Lotus or like Thundercat. Their label Brain Feeder is
Mhm.
actually going through Ninja Tune. So they
Okay.
get a lot of placements and stuff with them as well. So they ended up understanding what it was. You know what I'm saying? They were the only company that did. And when that project actually came out, the tough part was that Ninja Tune, we actually signed over the rights to that song. So like we make money off of it, but we don't control what happens with it, right? So
Mhm.
this is one of the rare cases because it doesn't always happen, but people really wanted that song. Like they was like, where's that song? And it wasn't anywhere online because they owned it in their catalog and it wasn't released to the public. So I did get clearance to like put it on YouTube because I wasn't profiting off of it. And like 10,000 people went and found this song, you know what I'm saying? Just off of it playing on Kevin Hart's show. Like I didn't have to
Yeah.
promote it, nothing. Like soon the day I started, the day I uploaded it, it started getting hits. And there was like a Reddit group, like, where's that song? I was like, Reddit?
Wow,
So
that's dope.
yeah, man, you just never know
Like out
how
there digging
impactful
for your
something could
stuff,
be.
man.
You're right, because speaking of Thundercat and Flying Lotus, I knew about Flying Lotus because these are producers, but I heard about Thundercat, but I had never tapped into his music until I heard it one of his songs on Grand Theft Auto. After that, I went and found him. I followed him on Spotify. I started listening to his music. So yeah, absolutely. And everybody like, oh,
Yep.
you late. I'm like, yeah, I might be late, but he didn't have an avenue to me until I was playing the video game and tapped in. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of this crazy dude. So
Yeah, and
absolutely, I think it makes a big difference.
Grand Theft Auto is like prime real estate for artists. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Like
yes. 'Cause
people
we
fight for
listen.
those slots, man.
Hmm. I damn sure listen to the music when I play. It's a part of the experience. Now, let me ask you this. Did you get into the sync licensing for just specifically to make money, or was it like, oh man, I'm done trying to get these fools to listen to my music, I want to do it a different way, or somebody teach it to you? Like, how did that come about? Because
Yeah,
everybody talks about what they want to do or where they want to go, but nobody's willing to put in the work or go find the research and actually get to it. You
Yeah,
seem to be
nobody I
to
don't
it.
think anybody's first thought when they're making music is, "I want this to be like the intro music to a comedy special," or, "I want this
I
to
think
be."
now they do.
Yeah,
I think now people
I
do.
it's
think
changing now.
more
Yeah,
it's more like that's kind of a new idea to people when it should have been
Yeah,
something all along because it's
right.
like,
yeah,
that's a great because you're exactly what you said. People were looking for that song as soon as it aired. Like I don't know how many times I've been watching something and I've been like, "That do you hear this? This is badass music. Like where is this coming from?"
Let me
right.
ask you, do you go when that happens, do you go and search out the artist? Like both of you, I'm asking you this. Like you hear a random song or something, you go search, like, what did they say? What were
I
the
will
last 3 words they said? Let me type that in the
I look
Google.
up
I
the
will
lyrics.
sit
Yep.
through I'll sit through that whole the whole credits if it's in a movie or something like that. I will sit through the whole credits looking for it. But then I've got to like make a mental note of every single one of them because I'm like, I'm not sure which one this
You're gonna drive
is.
yourself crazy like that. Don't do
Start
that to
looking them up
yourself,
Yeah,
and trying
sister.
to find 'em.
All you look, just remember a phrase from the song. That's how I
yeah,
found pretty much every song
Start
that I've ever looked
soundclouding
for.
everything.
Take one phrase and it usually take you right there, unless it's super common. Um,
for sure.
so as far as the sync licensing goes, actually, how'd you get into it? Like, what was the
Oh yeah,
purpose of
yeah.
that?
So, man, to be honest, I didn't know anything about it. Like, I think in 2012, I might have had like my first introduction to what sync licensing even is. I got into like this contest that Quicksilver, you know, the surfboard brand or whatever,
Mhm.
they did like this contest to find music to play during they were having like these surf competitions that were airing on the internet. So they needed music to play that they wouldn't get copyright flagged for throughout the competition. So I ended up winning and getting the song in there, but I never saw where it ended up. You know what I'm saying? I just got an email that was like, "Hey, you won." I'm like, "Okay." I definitely didn't get paid off of it, so I didn't really see like the value in it at first. But then, um, a guy by the name of Joseph Parker, he hit me on Twitter one day, just sent me a DM. He had been kind of like liking and retweeting some of my music for maybe about a couple weeks leading up to him reaching out to me. And he was like, "Hey man, I got a way for you to like start seeing some more activity with your music. You know what I mean? Just what's your email? I'm gonna link you with my producer, blah blah blah." So I'm like, all right, cool, sounds cool. You know what I mean? Like at this time, I don't really know anything really. You know what I mean? I'm just all I know is music. Like that's
Well, you
it.
just making music.
Yeah. So when he approached me, like, hey, we do music for TV and film. All you got to do is like write lyrics, record it, send it, we'll get it mixed and everything. So at that time, my first introduction to like really being in sync licensing, I was just literally just doing what they call top lining, which is just coming up with lyrics, recording it, sending them over to them, and whatever they did with it, they did with it. You know what I mean? My headspace was still releasing music to the normal way. I didn't really understand
Would you
it.
be credited for those songs?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the breakdown was like we split 50-50 everything. So they did me right, even though I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
And maybe about 5-6 months later, it ended up one of the first songs we made ended up on a UFC pay-per-view match. And
Nice.
yeah. So you know when the fighters be like uh the pre-fight where they be talking about their background and all that type of stuff. That's where the song got played. One of the fighters was talking about how his brother got killed and he wanted to dedicate the fight to his brother and all this type of stuff. So and they played dang near like the whole song, which I came to understand was a great thing, my first time out. So um we didn't get paid for it up front. We got paid like a couple of weeks after it got aired. Had to figure out like what they were actually going to pay us, which ended up being, I think me and the producer split like $1,000. And then we didn't get any royalties from it till maybe like 6 to 8 months later. So once I had pretty much forgot about the placement, BMI royalties started kicking in, and it was like, oh shit, like it was
Oh,
like we're
that's
getting
dope.
paid all over again. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
And
dope.
so that whole thing was a great lesson because being that UFC is such a big brand, they show it on pay-per-view first. Then they show it on every Fox Sports channel
Yeah.
in America. Then after it cycles through the American channels, it goes overseas because they're a little bit behind.
Yeah.
So then they start showing it on Fox Sports in Indonesia and all these different places, and all of those plays add up, and you get royalties from it. So I think we got paid off of that one placement for like 3 years,
Nice.
and that's what opened my eyes. I was like, hey man, one song, one little placement on TV is doing way more than my life up to this
Right.
point. Like,
Right.
especially releasing music and trying to put stuff on iTunes, just like, oh, I make $100 here and there, but it wasn't cracking like that. So I
That's
started
dope,
opening
man.
my eyes up a little bit more to it, but it still took me time before I like fully invested into it. I don't really think I got fully invested into it till about 2019. That
Do you
placement was
still
in
do
2013.
you still drop regular songs just to be dropping regular songs, or is everything business wise and looking for placement?
Oh yeah, so I talk to artists about this all the time, man. I have a distinction between my profit projects and my passion
Absolutely.
projects. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm
As you
saying?
should.
And sometimes they intersect. That's one thing that I've been learning to do with my actual music. You know what I mean? Like, so now I used to like just get with anybody that had dope beats, but if they business ain't correct, you really can't do nothing with them. You know what I'm saying? Especially you can't do nothing with the music. Like they might be a great person, but you got to catch them up to speed. Then, you know, there's a lot of sample based producers, which is how I came into the game. I used to love sample based hip hop. That was all I wanted to hear. But copyright wise, you can't do nothing
Absolutely.
with that music. So I had to completely shift my perspective on how to even create music while still keeping my personality and my the things that people like about me in there, but I just had to change a lot to make it more universal.
Dope, dope. Um, you, I wouldn't say you teach, but you do teach. You
Yeah,
put energy and effort into trying to. Well, do you have seminar? You hold seminars? No, you got a book. You got a
I got a
book.
book. Yes, sir.
Yeah, you got a book. Okay, we're gonna talk about your book at the end. But
For sure.
my question was just gonna be extra wordy, unnecessary. But do you? What made you decide to try to share this information with people? Because I know people get information, don't necessarily want to share it. It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy to do that. What made you to decide to try to help everybody out?
What you just pointed out, I felt like is the problem, man. Like folks get information and they keep it to themselves. They a lot of people operate out of this scarcity mindset. Like, if I tell you how to get to it, you're gonna take something from me.
Mhm.
I don't exist in that type of realm. You know what I'm saying? So like when people started asking me questions, because I didn't really think nothing. I thought it was cool, but when I started like announcing the placements, people was like, "Man, how the hell you doing that?" So I'm like, "Oh, bet." Like y'all really don't know, you know what I mean? Because I just
Yeah.
wasn't operating in a space to where I was talking about this type of stuff yet. Um, so the first thing I did was I created an event called the Songwriter Social Club, which was basically a meetup that I did in collaboration with Fiverr and General Assembly here in Atlanta. And we just invited music creators of all types, whether you artist, songwriter, engineer, producer, blah, 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 and just talked about the business of music. Like, you know what I mean? Had some people that actually worked in the industry that I kind of had connections to, had them come out and share their experience and share their knowledge. And the whole point of it was like, there's no shortage of talent. Like, I know people that I thought was better than me at one point just outright quit doing music. You know what I'm saying? Just one day, never knew what happened to them. Deleted their social media accounts and everything, just wiped their hands clean. And I feel like those same people, if they had the opportunity to learn some of the things that I did, they wouldn't have had to do that. So for me, I feel like that's super important because like it's not enough for me to just start getting ahead and then looking back at everybody else
Right.
and they not getting to it, especially when it doesn't take that much. Like, yeah, I have to be consistent, and of course there is a curve of like getting people to believe and trust in what it is that you're pushing to them, but I feel like it's worth it at the end of the day. Like, I want to be one of the people that's responsible for changing the narrative of how the music business even is conducted. You know what I mean? Especially on an independent level. I think that a lot of like shady handshake, dishonorable business gets done.
Mhm.
And one side of it is the music industry, but then we get the secondhand version of how things are done in the music industry, and then we reenact it even worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then it just gets all messed up.
Yeah. I agree with that, brother. Um, as far as the your book, what's the name of your book?
Yes, the Pen Game Portfolio. So it's a series actually. I got two volumes out. The first volume came out in January of 2021. Volume 2 came out on Black Friday.
How would you? So I'm a rapper, or I'm a young rapper right now, and I'm watching this broadcast when it comes on, and you're talking about getting your music in movies and in TV shows, and I want to do that now. How do I
Mhm,
even start that process? You sound like you were very fortunate. You had a brother right there that was looking after you. Was like, "Yo, come here, let me show you how to do this," and
mhm.
that's great. But a lot of these young cats, they don't, they're not gonna get those same opportunities. I believe a lot of your opportunities probably came to you because of the way you presented yourself. You said the school, the principal was behind you. It's because the energy you give off and the way you present yourself, which is very,
Right.
very important in this industry. But a lot of guys have the opposite perspective because the characters that they see narrating the stories are the opposite of who they should be when they're trying to get money from people. But so
Right.
I'm a young rapper. Tell me, how do I get my music in a movie?
Well, I think that the first thing is if you're just trying to jump to getting your music in a movie, you're not looking at it the right way. The book, the whole purpose of the book is kind of to give you all of the tools to get to that point. So you got to know about your masters, you got to know about your publishing, you got to know what administration is, because they're gonna, when people give you a contract, they're gonna say who administers the copyright, who
Mhm.
administers the publishing, who owns this. You know what I mean? You got to get that stuff ironed out first. Then you're gonna have to like I said before about the samples and stuff, like it's a lot of people that, man, they getting beats off YouTube and don't know what's in a beat that they rapping
Absolutely.
on. You know what I'm saying? So that type
Absolutely.
of stuff has to be reverse engineered. You got to get rid of some stuff, you know what I mean, and start from scratch if that's the goal that you want to obtain. Then on top of that, one thing that you just mentioned is the mentality and the way you present yourself. Like you can't just be like aloof about everything, which is like how a lot of rappers are. You see like a lot of artists, they come out, especially their first couple years in the game, they do interviews, they don't know how to articulate themselves very well. All that type of stuff is working to your disadvantage.
Absolutely.
The more knowledgeable that you are, the more responsibility you have to like uphold a higher standard of yourself. That in itself
Very
is
true.
going to help, because big thing that I learned coming up in the blog era was how to send a nice email. You know what I mean? When I was reaching out to you guys, I couldn't just be like, "Hey man, what's up?" You know what I mean? That don't work.
Right. Right.
like yeah, like I would love to talk to people like that all the time, but that's just not how you approach people in a professional manner. So those were skills that I learned early before I ever got into doing this. Now I'm using those skills every day because all I do is send out emails to different companies to try to partner with them. So
The skill of the professionally written email is almost a
right,
lost art at this point.
Hmm.
Because
absolutely,
I have to do it every day for with what I do. Like I'm constantly sending emails out to people, and so it's like, you have that. People have become so informal with each other anyway that now, like instead of that, hope this email finds you
Yeah.
well. I hope nobody's putting that in their emails anymore because it's so stupid. But
right.
Then
instead of
then
having
open
that,
the email with some emojis.
right, yeah, instead of that air of professionalism, it's like, hey, here's my latest. Like, I can't tell you how many emails I get that it's like, hey, line of emojis. This is our latest single
Yeah.
line, and you're just like, I don't even know what you're trying to do. And then you get down to the bottom, and they haven't attached the file that they're trying to send you, or you can't even tell the file.
They forgot it.
They did something wrong. They were so busy trying to like make the email look flashy. Like a simple professional email is so much more effective than having
Absolutely.
everything all over the place. And Jack is
For
coming to say
sure.
hi.
What's
With
up, Jack?
an email, What's up, Jack? An email with my name on it. So I get a lot of emails from a lot of different people, and when I open it, if it doesn't say Tony, I'm not even reading it. I'm not even,
Mhm.
I see it from afar. It says, "Hey, the name of the email that I used, to open the account." Like, come on, man. I'm not gonna entertain you. I don't care what you tell us to. All right, brother. So
Right.
we're gonna get out of here in a little bit. We don't want to waste too much more of your valuable time. Let everybody know where they can find you on social media, and if you got any extra projects and stuff like that coming out right now.
Oh, for sure. So on social media, everybody can reach me at Real J Nolan, spelled RealJNolan. No funny spellings on real. And you can actually go to realjnolan.com if you're interested in getting the pen game portfolio books. If you want to see any other placements that I have, you can also go on the website and see them for yourself. So you know I'm not playing no games or just making stuff up, because there's a lot of people out there these days promoting services that they really can't perform. And
Catfishing the
yeah, yeah. So yeah, man. Projects. I have a lot of stuff in the works, but I can't really like divulge into just yet, because I don't be knowing when stuff is coming out. So,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
know,
sir. You
but
just
I
working
got a
and
lot in the
handling your
pipeline.
business. That's
Yep.
what's up. Well, I'm proud of you and I'm happy for you, brother. It's good to see
Thank you.
you
I
doing your
appreciate it.
thing, and I truly mean that. Keep in touch with us, man. We may have you come back and hang out with us again, man. We appreciate you.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Miss
I'd
Sarah,
love to come back.
You got anything you want to say?
Stick around for a second after we're done with this part. That way we can get some information for you for when we shoot this out to
Okay.
everybody. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. It's been really cool. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
I
have
appreciate
you
it.
come back sometime. Maybe I'll be able to talk a little bit better then.
very, very
All good.
informative. I hope this helps some of you guys with the things that you're trying to achieve, because a lot of the information you got here today, you're not going to get anywhere else, and you damn sure not going to get it for free. All right, y'all tap in,
True.
find us on social media. That's that. We see you soon. Y'all be cool and be safe. Peace.
Peace.